Have you dipped the moon from the sea with a cup?
When I went over to meet the company of Cape Town Opera, what was so moving is that they knew this story. They really, they were all very, very anxious, excited, nervous about the possibility of being in this story. It meant so much to them.
Apartheid. I wasn't really born into apartheid, but I know a lot of it. I know a lot of people that experienced from it, and I mean I know the places that are spoken of in Lost in the Stars, and I know what they look like. I know what shanty towns look like. I know a lot, and I can feel a lot, and I can connect a lot with the piece, and it feels very close to home. It's something that's happened not just in South Africa. It's happened in Germany. It's happened in America. It's such a general subject that everybody can relate to.
The first time I read the book, I was in what you would call junior high school. And at that time in South Africa, the book was restricted. I don't know if it was completely banned as such, but in most schools it would have been kept behind in a cupboard, glass cupboard, and you'd have to get permission to read it. I worked in the library at that time in the school, and I got hold of the book and I read it. And one had to answer a lot of questions because it really is a very accurate description of life in South Africa at a certain point in our history.
Train go now to Johannesburg. Farewell, farewell. This boy will love his brother. Go to Johannesburg. White man, go to Johannesburg.
I've tried to focus on the costuming, the clothing of the people in South Africa, which is a very different style to what one would normally see in America and from what I've seen. The one costume detail that is I'm quite interested in is that the prison uniform worn by Alan Kumalo. A few years ago I did a production for Dahlia and we bought all the prison uniforms from Robben Island where Nelson Mandela was incarcerated. When he was released, all those uniforms changed. So we bought these uniforms and they went into a production of Adelia, and I've taken one of these prison uniforms from Robben Island and now Absalom Kumalo is wearing it in the production. So it tells a lot, this prison uniform, because I mean when I first got these uniforms I opened one up and looked inside of it, and inside of it had been filled with dishcloths and pieces of old towels sewn into it because they were very thin. But I mean I think the more important thing is it comes from Robben Island, which is, everyone knows where Nelson Mandela was incarcerated, and we're not saying it's what he wore, but it was certainly one of the clothes, uniforms that they would have worn.
I was also amazed when they told me that. I was like, I could be wearing Mandela's clothing right here, you know. So yeah, apparently it does come straight from Robben Island, and it's the costumes that Cape Town Opera has used for a few productions. I know they used it for Fidelio once a few years back, but yeah. It is authentic Robben Island.